There are a million cliches out in the world. In the field of strength and conditioning, you'll hear the cliche, find a great strength coach, and you will also find a great thief. This cliche comes from the likelihood that what you will see, hear, and experience while viewing that great strength coach has been taken or stolen from someone else. Now, I truly believe that it is only theft if that person tries to pass off the shared knowledge or work of someone else as their own. It should be the goal of every individual to be considered one of the greats. However, I do not believe it is the goal of each individual to be called out and considered a thief. I believe that knowledge is much like the law of the conservation of energy. Much like the physics of energy, knowledge cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred from one state to another. Even the originators of any given piece of information only discovered their knowledge through observing the changes and processes in nature. As strength coaches, a good amount of the knowledge we use to create our programs today comes from decades ago. I believe it takes more skill to adapt knowledge gained to fit your own needs and create your own experiences with that knowledge than it takes to use that knowledge as it was given to you. Everyone's knowledge has to come from somewhere else. We are all riding upon the shoulders of giants, especially in the field of strength and conditioning, because our success comes through the success of others. We may prepare the athletes, but it is the sport coaches who prepare the game plan. We may attempt to improve athleticism, but it is the athletes who have to go out there and make plays. When's the last time you've seen the Heisman Trophy decided based upon the athlete's bench, squat, or clean numbers? For me to take credit for any of the things I've done in my career would be absolutely foolish. All I have done from day one is take the work of others and attempt to mold it to fit my situation. If anything, it is my personal goal to share the sources of information I use to create my system in hopes that it benefits someone down the line. Through my experiences, I've broke my training system down into 3 key categories. I wanted to say thank you to all of the individuals that have influenced my career and made an impact in my thought process in each area. Starting with what I believe is the most important of the 3 key areas, coaching. The number one influence in both my career and my life, hands down, would be my father. I was blessed to have my dad as a coach from first grade up through high school. And in that time frame, I learned that a great coach doesn't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. He demanded the best effort the first time, every time. He would not bend and would harp on the little things until he got what he wanted from you. Probably the best coach I've ever had, because we won, and because it didn't matter if it was flag football or the high school state playoffs, he was the same coach, yelling and all, yes, even at the first graders. Number 2 would be Brad Potts, the director of sports performance at Lafayette College. From my father, I learned the unwavering passion to push athletes to their limits. From Potts, I learned how to do that, but mix in key points to show athletes you are a real person too, and you actually do care about their development. Potts' players would play, fight, and tear off their right arm for this guy because they knew he would do the same for them. I have taken this line from him and built the framework of my coaching persona around it. Anyone can get athletes to become stronger, but if you can make them great people, you will always win because that will carry them beyond their sport. I had to, for the most part, learn my programming style and philosophy on my own in a basement in Rhode Island. The primary reason I created 7 months in, 9 months out was because of the impact these individuals had on me through their books and videos. You never know who you're going to reach when you put something out there, and if it changes even one person, it's worth the risk to take to put yourself out there like that. The number one influence on my programming style would have to be Tudor Bompa. His 2 books on periodization literally started my interest in training athletes. Whether you agree with his methods or not, the organization of training periods, in my opinion, is the key to programming success. These 2 books taught me to organize my years, months, weeks, and days when it came to training. The next influence was Joe Kenn, the head strength and conditioning coach for the Carolina Panthers. I met Joe Kenn back in May of 2010 at the Villanova Hammer Strength Clinic. The coach's strength training playbook flipped the script for me. It's short, sweet, and to the point. It teaches you quickly the importance of a sound template and how to maintain the integrity of that template with exercise sequencing. I built the majority of my programming system around this concept, and it made the process of managing 22 teams and their programs practical. The next big influence came from Chris Carlisle, the head strength and conditioning coach at the Seattle Seahawks. I was very fortunate for Coach Carlisle to allow me to come visit at the Seahawks facility this past spring. I will say that the 3.5 hours I spent with him made the largest impact on me this year by far, mainly because he tore apart my program. It was the first time any of the coaches I had met with had turned the table on me and asked me about my system. Between the visit and the Hammer Strength Clinic in Seattle, and it's changed my idea on what the purpose of training is really about. The third and final key area also has brought the biggest challenges for me in my career. Sure, coaching and programming are important, but without some administration skills, you can find yourself stuck in the mud and not able to move or progress your career or department. Probably the biggest influence on my career has been Ron McKeefery, the current assistant strength coach with the Cincinnati Bengals. This guy has been behind every single move I've made up the ladder, and I still talk to him regularly. This guy is the guru of the game and thinks outside the box on nearly every subject that's out there. From internship programs, clinic structure, roundtable discussions, to facility and staff development, to department growth, to web and business design. This guy has an eye for the administrative side of the field. I've taken a lot from the experiences I've had with Coach Mack and used them to benefit my career, and he has jump-started who knows how many other coaches in this field. His talk show Iron Game Chalk Talk was brought up in practically every single sit-down meeting I had while I was on the road. I owe a lot to Mack, and for whatever reason he took to me, thanks for all the help that you've done and will continue to do in the future. There are hundreds, if not thousands of people I'd like to say thank you for everything that you've done for me to get me to where I am today. It is a strong belief of mine that each and every one of us owes our success to the people around us. This particular belief does not lessen the value of our accomplishments, but enhances it because of how many people have come to our aid over the years. Even if we are riding upon the shoulders of giants and walking in their footsteps, it does not mean that we aren't traveling in our own direction.